Good evening, everybody. In fact, it was a wonderful session where you had a panel of eminent speakers, amazing experience, which they put forth before us. I would start with thanking the organizers, Government of Kerala and Elets, for organizing this wonderful knowledge exchange session. I would remark on 2 points on what Anu in the contextual sharing session said, that such kind of occasions are done such that we share knowledge and we don't reinvent the wheel. A wonderful statement made by her. And also in caveat came up by the Secretary IT Kerala, where he said, all of us here are multitaskers. With that in mind, it doesn't mean that we keep multitasking when we are at such a wonderful gathering here. And he requested, saying that let us try to catch something up from here. So Ratan, let me assure you, I have gained a lot in participating in this session, hearing from eminent speakers and the industry leaders to understand the advances in e-governance. So today, I have put up this slide where I talk about leveraging geospatial technology in disaster management. I must thank Nizamuddin for doing my job a little easier. He spoke on the various trends in which he is being using geospatial technology. I would highlight exclusively on what we are doing in Karnataka in the disaster management sector. I've also highlighted a point, e-governance is now fading away to doorstep governance. So I will try to draw your attention on this point as to why I have made this point. If you can look at the screen, the entire session from morning spoke about how e-governance is rapidly extending, how people across the globe are harnessing information communication technology, particularly web-based networks, to deliver services. This is the point which the entire speakers from morning explained. I am bringing another concept of, in fact, the Joint Secretary spoke about digital governance, and he was proud to say that he's the first guy to be posted in a designation on digital governance. So digital governance comes with multiple delivery channels, background integration, so on and so forth. Karnataka is moving a step still forward, moving away from digital governance to doorstep governance. So this is where we are heading to. I will try to touch few points on this, though the topic of mine is not on e-governance, how we are trying to deliver services at these doorstep, physical services at the doorstep of the citizens. So that is broadly the context in which I would want to emphasize that everything I'm talking about is that how we, both the government and the non-government, look at implementing strategic information and communication technologies in making our work faster, speedier, hassle-free, simple, so on and so forth. So this is what I'm going to hover about in my presentation. I will just push this slide where I thought I will explain on the transition with 12 more minutes for me to go. I'm jumping on this slide where we started the journey of transition of e-governance. Today I will focus on disaster management. On the screen, I'm giving you some numbers. I want you to appreciate these numbers. In Karnataka, in the last 5 years, 2018 to 2022, continues the state experienced floods. And from floods, the broad damages I have tried to list out here. 52 lakh hectares of agriculture crops have been damaged. So this calls for an administration to see that the compensation in the form of crop input subsidy reaches the beneficiary ASAP. So I'm proud to say in Karnataka, we have established this system that in less than 1 month's time, all these 52 lakh beneficiaries have got their crop input subsidy right into their bank accounts. That's the power of technology. Direct benefit transfer to their farmer's account means a livelihood measure. He will use that money to buy fresh seeds and try to put up his crop back in place. Similarly, if you look at house damages, here also in a phased approach, geo-stamping of photos, stage-wise release of amount also happened for 2.62 lakh beneficiaries. So on and so forth. You can see the damage which has been caused, and here and there I'm trying to tell you how technology was used to solve the problems. But today, friends, I am here. I start my presentation talking on geospatial technology. It's an emerging field of study. It talks about geographical information system and global positioning system. Too complicated. The elder sister, IT, took ages for it to reach the rural areas, but whereas geospatial technology has penetrated to the last end. The Olas, Ubers, the Amazon orders which have been done are using geospatial technology today. Without any effort from the government side, it has penetrated. So let us see how you can harness this geospatial technology. I have tried to tell you how in Karnataka we are trying to store each and every bit of information, assets, resources, resource persons on a geospatial platform. We are also trying to do geospatial analytics. In my coming slides, I will show you. I also want to show you how geospatial technology can be used in planning. Planning not only for disaster management. You heard Nizamuddin saying, if you need to repair a tank, you need to have multiple layers to make an informed decision. It can be for a tank repair, it can be for giving a beneficiary, it can be for making roads in an hilly terrain. It can be for anything. So how can you use this geospatial technology is what I would try to emphasize in my presentation, ultimately leading to informed decision making. On the screen, you can see that many of the states are moved in this direction. I am trying to show you how prone is Karnataka to drought, to landslide, to earthquake, heat wave, so on and so forth. So what have I done? I have just superimposed a layer saying that these are the vulnerable areas. This part of Karnataka in the last 15 years has seen flood. This part of Karnataka has seen drought. I can give you that information that everybody of us are doing. But is that the only capacity of geospatial technology? So on the left-hand side, my guess is we have done something. But on the right-hand side is where the opportunity lies. So what is the opportunity I'm talking about? Geospatial intelligence, fraud detection, geospatial authentication. If a fellow said he has built his house, how do I get a geo-stamped photograph saying this is the stages of his house construction? When did he do his thing? Is his crop damaged? Where is his crop damaged? So geospatial authentication. Geospatial analytics. So this is what today's my theme of presentation is, that we have used this part of geospatial, but the major important strong strength of geospatial technology is on my right hand side. So let us see, in Karnataka, have we used anything of this or bits and pieces of these requirements? I'm trying to show you a case study of Karnataka. We have a specialized organization to monitor the Karnataka State Natural Disaster Monitoring Center. On the left-hand side, you can see 6,500 telemetric rain gauges have been installed. Now, these 6,500 telemetric rain gauges are installed across Karnataka on Grama Panchayats. So, sitting in Bengaluru, I can get what is the rainfall at every 15 minutes interval. I can talk about rainfall intensity. I can very accurately talk about what is happening. Is there a drought-like situation? Is there a heavy rainfall-like situation? So on and so forth. Similarly, I have got around 850 telemetric weather stations. So these weather stations communicate temperature, your humidity, your wind speed, wind direction. So both these two information are critical enough for me to foresee an happening of a disaster. You can see the other things. In Karnataka, we have installed lightning sensors. Based on these lightning sensors, 20 to 25 minutes before a lightning can strike the ground, we are in a position to know at this latitude, longitude, there are a possibility of a ground to cloud to ground lightning happening. So on and so forth. This robust monitoring system in Karnataka, if you can see the red dots over here, 15 minutes interval, 96 times a day, few crores of data points I collect every day. And what do I do with this data? Instantaneously, our system, which we have established in KSNDMC, consumes this data and then tells the district administration, tells the various multiple stakeholders whether the rainfall is as per the norm of the last 50 years. Are we running short? Are we running more? What is the temperature? It gives you an absolute information of realized data. And this data is shared to SAC Ahmedabad, where we are the only state we can give you Grama Panchayat wise forecast for the next 72 hours. So where does it lead? I'll come into my next slide. So if you look at an efficient decision support system in disaster management per se, three items I have raised out there. Data acquisition. Data acquisition from the 8,500 sensors is on one side, non-sensor related information. How do I process this data And how do I make sense of this data? So I'll show you in Karnataka what we do. If you see the 6,500 rainfall, seismic signatures, water level sensors, SWD sensors, TV channels, media. So TV channels, media, public inquiry, complaint, and other reports are the set of information which the disaster monitoring center receives. What do I do with this information? I should generate real-time information. What is the purpose of saying that last 4 days back you had heavy rainfall? I must give it instantaneously. So this real-time information of rainfall, intensity, high temperature, heat wave related stuff, if it goes right online, on time, is where you can actually save a life out over here. So here what we have done, we have built-in threshold alerts. If it is Gulbarga, if it is an area which receives less rainfall, if there is 100 mm of rainfall, it is problem. Similarly, if it is Udupi, if it receives in 150 mm of rainfall, there is no issues. So region-wise threshold alerts have been put up automatically. And as and when the sensor senses that information, the alerts trigger off SMSs to all the concerned guys out there. So here is where technology has been used. In fact, we have adopted a new disaster early warning system. I told you that 25 minutes before I can get an information about a probable lightning strike. So this disaster early warning system on top of Grama Panchayats, in prime Grama Panchayats, we have put up a public address system. From here it will announce, saying that in so-and-so area in the next 20 minutes there is a lightning likely to happen. Please do this, please don't do this. So this is how technology has been adopted, geospatial technology has been adopted out over here. In fact, the information that we collect at such granular level, one simple case is the Varnamitra help desk. So in Karnataka, if there is clouds out over here, my farmer makes a phone call to my call center and he asks me, will it rain today? These are all livelihood questions. Will it rain today? Can I do my harvesting? Can I sow my seeds? Can I put pesticides? It must be a simple question for us, but that's a livelihood question. If I put pesticides worth 4,000 rupees and if it rains and if it washes away, it's of no use to me. But for a farmer, that 4,000 is important. So this critical information of granular sensor capturing at the Gram Panchayat level, going to SAC Ahmedabad, and then it is available on my call center. I run this call center with 24 employees per batch. Trust me, I handle 19 lakh phone calls a year. All of you are in the IT sector. Can you tell me how is it possible? 19 lakh phone calls with 24 guys sitting out over here. 20,000 phone calls a day. This is only because we have used a nice CRM with little bit of AI. The moment a phone call comes from you, my first phone call I have taken your address, which Grama Panchayat you believe. Next time your phone call comes, the system automatically pulls information for that Grama Panchayat from my database and puts it on the screen. In 30 to 45 seconds, I finish your phone call. It will not rain for the next 48 hours. Heavy wind is going to come. So on, so forth is given to you out over here on spot. So 40 seconds to 1 minute is the average time I take. I know what is the probable question. Science-based information I'm giving. My data, the call center employees are trained completely to handle the situation. So this is where technology, especially the geospatial technology, we look at cloud movements, we look at atmospheric pressure, we look at various forecasts and communicate to our farmers. Then if you look at the dashboards, huge amount of geospatial dashboards, you can click on any point, it will tell you what is the rain, wind speed, wind direction. People plan their marriages, outdoor events based on this information. It's not only farmers. People, VVIPs plan their helicopter movements based on this information. So making available this information in a geospatial format really helps. He draws his line to find out whether he can fly his helicopter today or not. So you can see focused groups, basin-wise, Krishna Basin. So I know if there's heavy rainfall in Kerala, it will come towards Kaveri. So what are the areas I must be aware of? If it is going to rain heavily in Maharashtra, my Belgaum area has to come out. So that group gets activated. So WhatsApp groups, multiple communication strategies have been adopted over here. So information dissemination like this, the geospatial website, you can see maps, you can see the data which has been shared in global domain. I'll take few more minutes if there is time. Yeah, can I? So there's some best practices in disaster management. This will hover on geospatial technology. In fact, we are the first state to have a geospatial database to create disaster management plan. Now, what is this disaster management plan? Disaster management plan talks about a clear strategy, protocol for handling a disaster. It talks about roles and responsibilities for various departments. So how do I do it? So here in Karnataka, we have mapped our entire resources and resource persons on a geospatial database. Let us say if fire happens here, my system will tell these are the nearest hospitals where you can take services. These are the doctors. Here there is a burn ward. Here there is an orthopedic ward. These are beds available here in real time. It will also tell me if there is a flood situation. These are the swimmers. These are the JCPs. These are the shelter places where you can open your shelter camps. So, district disaster management plan, though mandated under the Disaster Management Act in the country till date, it is a paper-based document. When you take a paper-based document and call, you'll say, sir, I am transferred. That is not how disaster works. It has to be updated. It has to be as per your requirement there. So, we have moved into this stage where our 6 districts are now on a disaster, which is a geospatial enabled disaster management plan. It not only allows you can capture your past experiences and then refine yourself better. Similarly, if you look at your flood preparedness matrix, disaster early warning system, I'm running out of time, so I'm just shooting out. Now, for the gathering, I have only 2 slides which I desire that it happens. In fact, I just 2 days back had a talk with the member secretary NDMA. I said this is urgently required. We need, today you saw in Sikkim, there was one message going out in WhatsApp. What was that? Saying that don't contribute until the express permission of the concerned deputy commissioner is taken. Because somebody is fooling around over here, taking in the name of Sikkim the goods and delivery. So I said we need to have a new national geospatial portal where supply and demand is raised. If he is the deputy commissioner of Sikkim, he should say, I require blankets, I require milk, I require food, I require this. A demand is raised. And then philanthropists sitting across can supply resources in form of cash, goods, services, so on and so forth. So that I said is an emergent requirement which has to happen. If there is a disaster, this is how very strategically, starting from a food supply to construction of houses can happen in a systematic manner. Similarly, portal beneficiary for relief disbursement. I said Karnataka, I said that in less than 1 month's time, 52 lakh, 18 lakh farmers in those 3 years, 52 lakh farmers got their amount right into their bank accounts. How many of the states have such kind of a facility? Because this requires certification at many levels. That this is the farmer, this is his land, this is the crop which has been damaged, this is his bank account, Aadhaar-enabled payment service. Means the entire ecosystem should be in place. So there is huge opportunity across the country if you can have a portal where the beneficiaries, I showed you only Karnataka as example. Look at the animal deaths. In less than 24 hours, human deaths, our deputy commissioners pay relief to the person who suffered. So similarly, I'm saying that we need to create a geospatial portal for disaster management plans. What Karnataka has done, the entire state, if you can have this, it's not only governments, even a PSU having 5,000 employees need to have a disaster management plan. So he can hover on this because entire resource persons are mapped. So he can get the services out over here. And the National Portal of Hazards, we moved into it. In fact, morning the Joint Secretary explained. We have exclusive departments making an atlas of landslides, an atlas of cyclones. How am I going to use it? If he is the deputy commissioner there, he puts his point on that portal, it should say, this area is landslide prone. You cannot allow a 4-story building here. You cannot do this. That should be the way we can communicate. And only geospatial technology can provide that. If you're going to build a bridge, you're going to build a road, you're going to do something, such technique, we have a lot of institutions expertise on this. But how it consumes at the ground level is what we are saying. So here is a National Portal of Hazards. And lastly, National Portal of Best Practices. So today's knowledge, this gathering is exactly that. We learned something. So if there is something on the website that today I want to buy a life-saving jacket, which is the best one? UP would have bought something good, so somebody should be in a position to pick up that. Rajasthan would have done something, we should pick up from that. So this national portal, so these were my 5 recommendations I made to the member secretary NDMA, that if you can make this happen, it will be a huge change over here. So thank you, though I offshot 5 minutes out over here. Thank you for this time. Thank you so much.